Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a software engineer with a decent apartment in Boston and what most people would call a successful life at 25. But sometimes success on paper doesn't match how you feel inside. I grew up in a picture-perfect suburban home with my parents, Robert and Margaret Wilson, and my older brother, Jason. We had the two-story house with the well-maintained lawn, family vacations to Florida, and all the trappings of upper-middle-class life. But something always felt off. Daniel, could you please not put your feet on the coffee table? Jason never does that. This was the soundtrack of my childhood. Small comparisons, tiny cuts that added up over time. I was sitting in my childhood home last Sunday, having reluctantly agreed to the monthly family dinner. I'd stepped into the hallway to take a call from work when I heard my parents talking in the kitchen. Thank God we had Daniel as a backup. Can you imagine if we'd only had Jason and then almost lost him? My father's voice was so casual, like he was discussing a spare tire rather than his second son. I know, that medical scare when Jason was 7 nearly broke me. Having Daniel as insurance was the right call, even if we never really connected with him the same way. I froze, phone forgotten in my hand. Backup? Insurance? Was that all I was to them? He turned out fine anyway. Good job, self-sufficient. We did our duty. Still, it's obvious who took after your side of the family. Jason's the true Wilson through and through. I must have made a noise because they suddenly went quiet. I slipped out the front door without saying goodbye, my head spinning. Everything suddenly made horrible sense. Why I never quite belonged, why my achievements were acknowledged but not celebrated, why family photos always had me slightly off-center. Hey, you look like you've seen a ghost. Sophia was waiting in my apartment when I got home, her dark eyes immediately catching that something was wrong. What happened at dinner? I just found out I'm a backup plan. I collapsed onto the couch beside her. What are you talking about? The words spilled out in a rush, and with each sentence, Sophia's expression grew more concerned. That's seriously messed up, Daniel. No wonder you've always felt like the odd one out, but are you sure you didn't misinterpret? What's there to misinterpret about backup and insurance? They had me because Jason almost died, and they wanted a spare kid just in case. I've always noticed how differently they treat you and Jason, but this is beyond. She shook her head, reaching for my hand. What are you going to do? I don't know. I feel like my entire life has been a lie. Maybe it's time to look deeper. Think about it. There might be other signs you missed. Patterns. I nodded slowly, the initial shock giving way to something colder and more determined. You're right. This can't be the only thing. I need to know exactly what I've been to them all these years. Whatever you find, remember I'm here. Sophia squeezed my hand. And Daniel, you're nobody's backup plan to me. The next day I called in sick to work and drove to my parents' empty house. In my father's office, I found a folder labeled Family Finances in the back of his filing cabinet. Holy crap. My college fund was half the size of Jason's. Insurance policies listed him as primary beneficiary. Their will showed Jason inheriting the house and majority of assets, while I'd get a reasonable stipend. I photographed everything and met Ethan at our usual coffee shop. This is seriously messed up, man. Ethan frowned at the documents. You gonna talk to your brother? That's my next stop. Jason seemed surprised when I showed up at his condo that evening. Unannounced visits? That's not like you, little bro. Did you know I was just the backup child? That mom and dad only had me because you got sick? His face fell, confirming everything. How long have you known? Since high school. I overheard them talking. And you never told me? You let me think something was wrong with me? What good would it have done? It would have only hurt you. Like I'm not hurt now? I slammed my fist on his counter. Tell me everything. They had you after my leukemia diagnosis. Dad called you their insurance policy once. I confronted them. They claimed they loved you, but differently. Differently how? They said they appreciated you, but they lived for me. Their words, not mine. And the inheritance, the college funds? You found those papers? I didn't know about that part, I swear. On my way home, I stopped at Aunt Vivian's house. She'd always been especially kind to me. I've had suspicions for years. The way they treated you compared to Jason wasn't right. I confronted Margaret once about playing favorites. What did she say? She didn't deny it, just said I wouldn't understand because I never had children. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Or would it have just created more family drama that would have hurt you even more? Back at my apartment, Sophia and Ethan helped me organize all the evidence. The annual Wilson family dinner is this Sunday, I said. Everyone will be there. Are you sure you want to do this publicly? Sophia squeezed my hand. They've had me playing the role of grateful son for 25 years. It's time for the truth to come out. We've got your back, Ethan assured me. Whatever happens. I stared at the stack of evidence we'd collected. Sunday night, everything changes. Sunday night arrived faster than I expected. I walked into my parents' dining room with a folder tucked under my arm and a knot in my stomach. Sophia had offered to come, but this was something I needed to do alone. There's our busy boy. We barely see you these days. Margaret air-kissed my cheek while Robert gave me a quick pat on the shoulder. Work keeping you occupied? Robert was already pouring himself a scotch. Something like that? Aunt Vivian caught my eye from across the room and gave me a subtle nod. Jason was setting the table, looking increasingly uncomfortable as I approached. Glad everyone could make it tonight. I remained standing as everyone else sat down. I actually have something I'd like to discuss. Can it wait until after dinner, dear? I made your favorite roast. Margaret was already serving the plates. No, it can't wait. I've waited 25 years already. The room went silent. I know the truth about why I was born. Robert cleared his throat. What are you talking about, son? I pulled out copies of the financial documents. I'm talking about being the backup child, the insurance policy in case something happened to Jason. That's ridiculous. Where would you get such an idea? Margaret's voice pitched higher. From your own mouths. I heard you last Sunday. Thank God we had Daniel as a backup. Ring any bells? Their faces paled. You misunderstood what we were saying. Robert tried to reach for the papers, but I pulled them back. Really? Then explain these. My college fund was half the size of Jason's. I'm barely mentioned in your will. 25 years of being treated like I was less important. We love both our sons equally, Margaret protested weakly. No, you don't, and it's time we all stop pretending. Jason finally spoke up. Daniel, maybe we should discuss this privately. Why? So they can gaslight me some more? Everyone in this family needs to hear this. Robert's face hardened. Fine. Yes, we had you after Jason's cancer scare. It was a difficult time, and we made a practical decision. Practical? I'm a human being, not a spare tire. Of course you are, honey. Margaret reached for my hand, which I pulled away. We may have had you for complicated reasons, but we grew to love you. Grew to love me? Like I was some obligation you eventually warmed up to? You're twisting our words. Robert stood up, his voice rising. We gave you everything. Private school, family vacations, a good home. Everything except genuine love and acceptance. Aunt Vivian joined in. Robert, Margaret, I've watched for years how differently you treat these boys. Just admit it. Stay out of this, Vivian, Margaret snapped. You've always undermined our parenting. Because your parenting was cruel to one of your children, Jason tried again. Can we all just calm down and... Are you seriously defending them? I turned to him. You knew for years and said nothing. I was trying to protect everyone. You were protecting them, not me. Never me. Robert slammed his hand on the table. That's enough. We did our best. If it wasn't good enough for you, that's your problem. My problem. You made me feel like an outsider in my own family my entire life. Every achievement ignored, every need secondary to the golden child. We're sorry if you felt that way, but don't you dare say if you felt that way. This isn't about my feelings, it's about your actions. I grabbed my coat. I'm done being the family afterthought. You can all continue the Wilson legacy without me. Daniel, don't be dramatic. Margaret called after me. Goodbye. Don't expect to hear from me again. I walked out the front door without looking back. 6 months flew by after I walked out of my parents' house. Sophia moved in with me and we repainted the apartment, erasing the last hints of the style my parents had pushed on me when I first moved in. The change of address paperwork came through. Sophia handed me the mail one morning, officially untraceable by the Wilson clan. Perfect timing. Got a text from Aunt Vivian yesterday. Apparently Mom and Dad have been getting the cold shoulder at family events since our showdown. Karma's finally catching up to them? Sounds like it. Aunt Vivian said Grandma Wilson is reconsidering her estate planning too. The doorbell rang. Ethan walked in carrying takeout bags. Guys, check this out. My cousin works at your dad's company. Rumor has it they're in serious financial trouble. Some investment went south and they might lose the house. Not my problem. I grabbed plates from the cabinet. That's not all. Your brother's been telling people it's affecting your parents' health. Jason specifically mentioned your mom's anxiety is through the roof. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello? Daniel, it's your father. I almost hung up. Please don't hang up. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Your mother and I are facing some difficulties. The business isn't doing well, and we could use some help. And you're calling me? Your backup plan? That's not fair. We've had time to reflect on our mistakes. 6 months of consequences isn't enough to erase 25 years of treating me like an afterthought. We're your parents, Daniel. Family helps family. You made it very clear I wasn't really family. We're sorry. What more do you want from us? Nothing, that's the point. I want nothing from you, and you'll get nothing from me. I hung up. The phone immediately rang again. Daniel, it's Jason. Don't hang up. What do you want? They're really struggling. Dad's business is going under, and they might lose the house. They need a loan. And I should care because they're still our parents. They made mistakes, but mistakes. They deliberately made me feel unwanted my entire life. That's not a mistake. That's cruelty. They've been asking about you. They miss you. They miss having someone they can feel superior to. That's harsh, bro. Truth hurts. Are you helping them with money? I'm trying, but I can't cover everything myself. Not my problem. You were the investment. I was the insurance policy. Time for their investment to pay off. 2 weeks later, Sophia, Ethan, and Aunt Vivian joined me at the courthouse. Daniel Chen. I smiled as the clerk handed me my official name change documents. I'd taken Sophia's last name, a preview of our future together. How does it feel? Sophia squeezed my hand. Like I'm finally free. My phone buzzed with a text from Jason. Mom and Dad lost the house. They're moving into a condo. They keep asking about you. I deleted the message without responding. Ready for lunch? Ethan's parents are meeting us at the restaurant, Sophia said. My real family awaits. I tucked the documents into my jacket, leaving the Wilson name behind forever. So what would you have done in Daniel's position? When his parents called for financial help after treating him as a backup plan his entire life, he refused and completely cut ties. Was he justified in showing them zero mercy when they needed him, or should family ties deserve a second chance regardless of past hurt? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have forgiven them, helped them on your terms, or walked away like Daniel did? If this story resonated with you, hit that like button so more people can see it. And if you want more compelling revenge stories that explore complex family dynamics, subscribe to our channel for weekly uploads. Your support helps us create more content like this.